Survivor's ready. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
The queen stays queen.
You said Russell Feathers.
Did you do that?
Yeah. I'm supposed to calamity. We have ripe bananas all the time.
Dude, my prize isn't even $1 million. My prize was that I fell in love in this game. Love at first sight. Her name is Candace.
You officially go down as the dumbest survivor ever.
Welcome to Not Game, All Personal. Hey, we are a Survivor podcast here, talk about all things Survivor, more specifically the events of this week's episode. I'm Nathan. This is Tony, and Tony, I'm getting a little worried. We might just have to start recognizing the Riz God.
Yeah.
Is it time?
The Riz God. I thought you said
we have to...
there is God. And I was like, huh. Do you think we need to talk about that on the podcast, whether or not there's a God?
Well, I'm going to say there is one, and his name is Rizo. Based
You're not
on
wrong.
What I'm seeing, are we there yet? Are we ready to just acknowledge what he is doing? It's complicated. I have complicated emotions of what is going on.
My question becomes, because we've seen, and this isn't to diminish him, because I genuinely think that there's
but
something
go ahead
to
and
what
diminish
he's
him.
doing.
That's fine. I'll give you permission.
But no, I'm going to qualify it first, though, so I don't look like a bad person. But we've seen this in past seasons where there's people where it's like, oh, this person seems like an obvious threat to us, but they don't consider them that. And I'm wondering if that's what's like. It doesn't make sense that they're not doing anything to do with anything about this.
They keep saying he's a threat. They keep
They
acknowledging
keep saying the name, but they're not doing anything about it. I don't know. Yeah, maybe there's something there. I mean, there's probably something there. Mm-hmm. And I think they're just so loaded with advantages at this point that, well, I guess it's just that. It's the combination of the immunity win plus the idol that you're scared to take that shot, because if you miss, it very well could be you. Because I think it is pretty random who's getting taken out by them every week. It's not like an obvious pick. I don't know that Alex was the obvious person to take out this week. And so, yeah, there's that risk of like, oh, if we're actually going to take the shot, it could very well just be me. And so I'd be screwed. So you kind of go along with it and help them out and hope that you have a shot later, I guess.
Yeah, I just... It feels bizarre because every single week we are at the same position where it is, Savannah and Rizo, they're threats. We also hate them. They're annoying. You know, it's like all these things. Yeah. And yet, like, if you were to just check out the box score of the past 2 episodes and see the voting numbers, you would be like, oh, interesting. Looks like 3 episodes ago, Sage and Joanne turned on Nate. That's interesting. I wonder what happened. And then the following 2 episodes, it's like, oh, cool. They're working again with Rizo and Savannah because they keep voting with them. If you don't watch the in-between, you would have zero clue that there is anything going on, because it looks like the 4 Yuli members are all together picking off the outsiders. And that's not what's happening. And if you were to go into next episode, you'd be like, oh, I wonder how Rizo and Savannah are getting out of this one because they're at the bottom. But, like, are they at the bottom? Because for whatever reason, everyone's listening to them as far as, like, where to vote. And, how much more can they get away with here?
Yeah, and that's why it screams to me like, okay, we're not getting the true narrative. Is it potential that we're not getting the true narrative here and people just aren't worried about them? And I don't think that's true. I don't think that's reasonable to believe, because, I mean, Savannah's winning immunities. Like that, we see Sophie being a huge threat because she wins immunities, and now Savannah's also winning immunities. Like, obviously they're worried about her. And her right-hand man, and the person who is now just picking off all the people from the original Hina tribe. Yeah, it doesn't make sense that they're not being considered more. For sure. Yeah, I don't get it. Which maybe it's the Riz God. I'm not happy that I just said that. I'm actually mad at myself that I just said that out loud. But maybe that's it.
I think the only thing I can attribute it to is that it just comes down to they view them as threats. You know, because like I'm trusting what they're saying, and Joanne and Sage keep saying they're threats, right? Like I'm trusting them that they're telling the truth in that. The issue is there's no follow through, And something happens in between the end of the immunity challenge and tribal council votes where they end up going along with what Rizzo and Savannah want them to do. And whatever that is, it's working. So either they're not actually targeting Rizzo and Savannah, or they are just getting the workaround in order to accomplish someone else's plan. Because, like, Alex wasn't a good move for the two of them. I don't think so. I feel like voting Alex out was much better for Rizzo's game, and yet here we are with multiple people voting for Alex, and I don't think that benefited all those people.
I don't think it benefited all those people. Why would you say that it doesn't benefit Sage and Joanne?
Mostly because Alex was a number for them. Like, I get he
Was
was
he,
like
though?
the middleman. I mean, he
That's
voted
the
with
thing that I hesitate about.
he voted with their plan at this tribal council. So, like, when it came down to picking a side,
He had
his
to
vote
though.
assigned with them.
It was him or the
yeah.
other side, so he had to vote with their side. But
I
I see what you're
suppose so.
saying. Yeah, like when I look at it because the logic that I feel like they showed us that was happening is, okay, he's playing the middleman, so you can't know who he's really playing with. And I think this week you can't really tell the difference because it's him or somebody else. So he has to obviously go the other direction. He has to be on that side. That's the side he has to pick this week. But then there's also, I wonder if we underrate the idea that, like, oh, if we flush that idol, it goes back into the jungle and we don't know who has it. And so it is this idea of, like, I'd rather just know Rizzo's holding on to that and just not worry about him. Especially when we just saw a season where somebody who everybody watching thought was a massive threat because she had an idol and a partner who was a comp beast, which is eerily similar to Rizzo and Savannah just in that context. And they just weren't threats in the end, and nobody was worried about them. And so, like, okay, maybe him just holding on to an idol and not playing it isn't that impressive. Maybe Savannah winning all these immunities isn't that impressive when we're running the show from the behind the scenes. And so, like, from that side of things, I think I see the potential. Like, oh, I can see what's happening here and why those two aren't higher on the priority list. But at the same time, I do think Savannah and Rizzo have definitely more strategic chops than the two last year. I can't even remember their names.
Joe and Ava.
Yeah, Joe and Ava. Like, Joe and Ava were
Yeah.
solid, but, like, this is like a different strategic level, I think.
Well, I think
that
the
we're
main
seeing these
difference
two.
is, like, when it came down to the votes, Joe and Ava were the ones that were getting worked by people like Kyle and
Yeah.
Camilla. Like, they
Yeah,
were the
yeah, yeah.
ones. And I think this is the opposite, where it's like, at least from what we are presented with, the past two episodes with MC and now Alex, Rizzo was the one who first threw that name out. So what's being presented to us, whether or not that's, factual, like, Rizzo is the one that initiates this thing and then plants these seeds, and eventually everyone's on board. And so, like, the past 2 weeks, in my mind, he gets the most credit for. And so I think that's the interesting thing is, like, they think he's a threat. I think he's a threat. And yet there's still a disconnect on where the votes are going.
And that's exactly what you want in your Survivor game, is you want to be the one pulling the strings, and people aren't making the connection that you're the one pulling the strings. So as much as I might not be a fan of just the things he says, like, I don't think he's a bad dude, but just, like, all the Riz God cinema stuff, not my thing. He's cooking right now. Him and Savannah are cooking. I'm interested to see once it whittles down, will they be kind of screwed though? I don't know. We'll see. Do you see a world? I don't know if this is a fair question. To me, I don't know that they win just because they come back. I don't know if they'd be like, you just won, want to come back immediately. And so I'm very interested to see what that's going to look like.
Well, I think perhaps I think the counter to that is that, like, there are winners on the season, especially recent winners like Kyle and also D. So, like, it wouldn't be absurd if there is the most recent winner, but I do think the narrative of, like, hey, they got robbed at Final Tribal despite playing a cutthroat game most of the season. Like, I do think that's compelling. And I mean, like, the thing is, like, one of them is going to lose.
Yeah.
Whether at Final Tribal or, fire making or even, like, blindside. Like, they are being positioned as the stars of this season in a way. And so, like, we could get one winner and then also one, like, devastating, like, oh, they should have won kind of thing. So, I don't know. Either way, it's like, I'm starting to see why they're going to be on the next season. Like, I get it now. Like, I don't know who else I would pick from this season right now. I think, like, I do think it's got to be them two.
Yeah. Now, to an extent, how would you rate the like competition for them? Like strategy wise, would you say that this is and I, like not to take away anything, but I'm curious because that context matters in the like analysis of games. Are they playing against a bunch of people who have no idea what they're doing, and that's why they're cooking them, or is this like very, very impressive? Where do you think you'd fall on that so far? Because we haven't seen the whole season, so we don't know everything yet. But just based on what we've seen,
I think they are pulling off, and I'm trying to remember if it was, oh gosh, not this season of Big Brother, maybe the last one where we talked about this. Or maybe it was Survivor. I can't remember. There's a season where we discussed this idea, where it's like, if you can eliminate your threats early on to allow yourself to coast, like, maybe that's, like, is that more impressive than, like, having threats throughout the entire game and fighting every single week? Because I almost think, like, that's kind of what's happening here. Because, like, you're right. In my mind, Sage and Jawan are just easy to manipulate. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, I'm not viewing them as like, oh, they got what it takes to, like, really push forward their vote. Because, like, you look, last week I thought MC was a fantastic move to get out. You know, that, like we talked about, it removes the center of a lot of relationships. I would also say, like, Alex is another person that, like, talking about the middle person in between two different groups, like, that's not often discussed as, like, hey, this is actually the biggest threat. Like, we always talk about the middle is the best place to play, and now Rizzo's acknowledging that. So, like, I would view it more as they are strategically, like, getting out the biggest threat and allowing themselves an easier path. Because, like, yeah, you're not gonna, like, why would you get Christina out at this point? You know, like, she's not that scary. You know, like, Yellow Sophie could possibly win immunity challenges, but, like, I think they even acknowledge in her, like, she's not that big of a threat. Like, we are not as concerned with her. So I do think the competition is weak, but I wonder how
by
much
design
of that is
almost.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I definitely see that. Like, MC and Alex were both people that I think both of us were like, oh, they're pretty good. Like, there could be something here. And I was like that with Nate. I don't know that you were there with me. He was a boring player, but I think he had a level head that could have been a problem potentially. But we don't need to dig into that again. But yeah, the people left, like, even the people who are super headstrong and are like, oh, we're gonna do this thing. Like Sage, I feel like makes up her mind and she's like, we're doing this. There's obvious, like, she has obvious things that, like, bother her, and so there's clear strings to pull, but potentially to, like, be like, oh, if you push this button, Sage will be like, oh yeah, frick that person, let's get them out, or like, oh, good point, let's get that person out. And Jawan, I think this whole season we haven't been super high on him, and so that checks out for sure. So yeah, that's what I was thinking, looking at the people that they're up against at this point, and it's not the greatest group, but yeah, that's fair. They've been intentionally picking off people who they need to, and I guess that's really for them. It's only because they weren't in the Shannon vote. Were they in the Nate vote? I can't remember. They weren't.
Yes,
right?
they were. Yep,
They were.
The two of them and Soph were the ones that were blindsided by it.
They voted the wrong way.
Yeah. So really, the three votes that they've been a part of were Matt and Jason, right? Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Which Jason, well, I guess at that point it was just the two Hina. But, like, there was that acknowledgement, like, Jason is someone that's not going to work. You know, like, they did talk about it in what I feel like a strategic way of, like, this guy could be a threat later on. So it was Matt, Jason, and then MC and now Alex. So, yeah, I mean, like, they're voting, in my mind, like, they're voting out the right people. And, like, that's the thing. It's like they are allowing themselves a good path. And I think the advantages aspect is huge, especially because, like, I almost feel like Rizzo's idol is like this decoy, and it gives everyone this security of like, oh, well, we know what power they have, when in reality, like, they do not. And in fact, like, I don't even think Savannah and Rizzo know about Soph's knowledge's power advantage. So, like,
Yeah,
that's another
and
layer.
extra vote.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Savannah's extra vote is like the hidden layer of like they know about my idol, they don't know about the extra vote. And so, like, now that we're at a 8-person tribe, that extra vote is going to be huge. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't need to use his idol for another like 2 episodes, which is insane.
Oh yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's just holding on to that thing at Final Five and plays it just because you need to play. Like, there's no other reason to hold on to it at that point. Like, I don't think that they're going to have the numbers to take that shot anytime soon. And if they're going to take that shot, they're not going to be able. So that gets into, and if you want to keep going on this trio, this power trio, I think that's fair to say. Like, feel free to stop me. Because that idol's there, and obviously everybody's worried about it, and everybody's thinking about it. Everybody, especially that's not in those 3, and this might have been their only chance to really flush it in any meaningful way. But I feel like they went back after the immunity challenge. I think it was after the immunity challenge. And Christina just goes, "We're splitting the vote. We got to split the vote." And I was just floored that she was just so matter of fact, like, "Yep, we're splitting the vote." After one of your people just went home and they survived. Like, just it feels like she doesn't understand what's going on and maybe it was just presenting the plan, but I just don't understand Christina's reads of the game. I feel like she doesn't get it. She's not great at the strategic side of the game, because it was like, yeah, we'll just split the vote. It'll be easy. And it's like, you think you have the numbers to split the vote? Like, you think that you can just pull that off and nobody's going to fight back? Like, these guys aren't going to have a plan for that? That's where you're at? All right, interesting. I was just very surprised by that. Did you notice that at all, or is that just me?
Yeah, no, 100%. But I think it speaks to the idea where it's like, I don't know, because like, you got to give. I think for her it might be a little different because she wasn't at the last tribal, so
True.
You're kind of left just trusting whatever those people are telling you. Now, I'd be curious next week if she still is like this. Guys, it didn't work. Well, we'll just try again, So I think that's going to be like the true test. But like, I think it's possible, And I think that's the crazy thing, where it's like, you get, again, like I said, you got Sage and Jawan, who, watching the episode, you're like, oh, there's 2 sides. But then looking at the votes, you're like, wait a minute, they have blindsided Steven and Christina the past 2 episodes. So it's like, are there actually 2 sides? And if so, I don't think Christina knows what the sides are.
No, I don't think so. And I think they're not complicated sides necessarily, but like, it's just not, you're not a part of all those conversations. It's hard to have the wool pulled over your eyes when you don't see everything like we do, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jawan, I thought Jawan might be going tonight, or in that episode, just because he had that, like, man, we're running this game, we're the kings of this game. Like, he had that confessional, and the majority of the time, that's like, oh, they're gone. All right, see you later. Get out of here.
Yeah.
This competition, I don't want to. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
No,
but
it's
at the
really
same time,
not.
like, I could very much see people getting to the end and being bitter towards Rizzo and Savannah and voting for one of them just to spite those 2. I could absolutely see that.
Yeah, it's so odd to me. And I talked about this last week too, where I just I can't really figure out what everyone's issue is with them, other than this just like instinct, your personality doesn't mesh with mine, which, like, again, for some people that's enough to like dislike someone. But like, there was a moment where in this episode, Christina had a confessional, and she's like, sorry, Savannah, you just come across as a mean girl. I don't really like you. And I was just like, whoa, what? Like, because like, when you look at what has happened, like Savannah again has not done anything to anyone. Like, is it a personality thing? It has to be. Like, you know what I mean? It has to be like just maybe a comment or two. But like, I would be so upset, and when I say this now, because like it very likely might happen. But like, if they get to the end and play an amazing game, but it's a bitter jury, I'm gonna be so upset because it's like you put Savannah and Rizzo in this position. Like, you are the ones that put them at the bottom. You're the ones that drew these lines, and now you're mad because they're blindsiding you back. Like, that's the part I can't understand. Like, I have no issue with villains. I have no issue with disliking
No.
people, but it's the hypocrisy of, like, you are a mean girl. I'm not. Like, that's the thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like, you are the ones that are doing this to them. So I don't know. I like remain very confused, and I think it's literally just there's something about Savannah. I think Savannah specifically. I don't think people hate Rizzo too much personality wise.
That's where I was gonna go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems specifically towards her.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you do just get that vibe where you're like, "Ooh, it feels like you're being like fake nice to me, maybe." But it, like you said, it's hard to really see any of that because they haven't shown us that side of things at all. Like Sage has been against her for a while, and I didn't go back and look, but we thought about it and didn't really know where that came from. Now that said, I love doing this. Just because I thought of you as soon as this happened, but during Tribal, she had this like speech thing that like it's the classic like, "Ooh, she's getting a little cocky for me. I don't like that. Stop doing that." And then I was like, Nathan's gonna be like, "Oh, Tony loves humility," and that's gonna be his response immediately. That went through my head, so I feel obligated to mention that because
That you didn't like that she was cocky.
Watching it. I thought of it as I was watching, and I was like, "Ooh," and it made me like reflect. It's like, is it fair that this is annoying to me? Nah, that's just who I am. Like it just is what it is. It doesn't make me dislike her as a player because I think she's playing very well. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I thought that was funny. And I do think that sort of thing, and obviously this is so late in the game, so this couldn't be why they're going after her leading up to this point. But that would rub me the wrong way in person. I can't remember specifically what she said, so that's not super helpful, but maybe you remember what I'm talking about.
I do remember you're talking about. I don't remember the specifics. So let me ask you, because it seems like you might understand this. Like, if you were on the island, do you think you would fall into, like, be that person that would target someone based on like, oh, they're just rubbing me the wrong way?
I like to think no. I think it's hard to say when you're in that situation and like you're exhausted and hungry and like worn down a little bit. If somebody's bothering you, it might be more advantageous for you to get rid of them. I like to think I can handle that if it feels like it's better for me in the game for that person to still be there. And that's what it feels like some of these people, the decision that they're making, whether it's wrong or not, they think it's better to not take that shot now. But it's really hard to say because I think there is so much to that. Even in the like 48-hour survivor things that I've played, like it's stunning how being tired and like not tired just from not sleeping, but like from doing a ton of challenges in those situations. And also, man, I haven't eaten all day. How that affects like the way you think, and afterwards you're like, oh, I should have done this, or oh, I should have had this conversation. Like, I know Survivor. How was I stupid enough not to do that? It's so different, even in the very, very, very watered down version that I've done. I can't imagine 26 days of just constantly that, and trying to make all. So yeah, I definitely see a world where it's like, I just want my 26 days to be easier, and if that means getting this person out of my face and them not, and maybe it's not even that person, maybe it's just me that, like something's bothering me. You might take that shot.
Yeah, it's just so interesting because I feel like we often have these conversations and we end up on different sides where there's like specific traits that like do bug you, and I'm just curious why that doesn't like they don't bug me, you know? And so like it's fascinating to watch like I don't know, like the different characteristics that like trigger something within someone else.
Yeah.
Because I think like Sage is, I think, the best example of that, where like Savannah's like not the first one, right? Like the Shannon thing was like the big one where there's just something about Shannon because like by all accounts like Shannon did not have the same characteristics as Savannah as far as like, oh, she comes across as a mean girl. Like in fact the opposite. Like Shannon came across as too nice. So to me it's almost like there's something with Sage where it's like she either can't get along with people or there are a number of things that rub her the wrong way and she acts accordingly. And so like it's just interesting because I do understand the concept, like if someone rubs you the wrong way and you don't want to be around them. Like I get that. I'm not saying I don't. But in the context of like this game where Savannah has done nothing to like Savannah outside of the initial Uli tribe where Sage wasn't included in that 4-person alliance. Outside of that, Savannah has
4-person alliance that never actually voted together too. Like
well, that too, yes.
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry,
but like outside of that, Savannah has always wanted to vote with Sage every single episode, and so like to me, I'm like, I feel like I would have such a hard time not looking because like it's so obvious. Like this is the person that is gonna vote with you. Now, are they a threat? Sure, that's different. But like, can you put up with it? Like, can you just put up with the fact that she's a little cocky for the sake of like she's a number and like she won't be a number forever because you keep on like doing these things? But I don't know. It's like to me, it's almost maddening watching these people like not be able to like get over that for the sake of trying to better their game.
Yeah, and we've seen that in many different ways. Like in that way, it's like, oh, somebody who just bothers you or does something that frustrates you. Yeah, you can't get over that. But then we've seen people who it's like, oh, they wronged you and you cannot get your vengeance out of your head. And that leads to you losing because you're so focused about getting revenge that you don't worry about winning the game. Like it's baked into the pie, I think. And it's something that's not talked about as much from that context of just like not loving somebody. Because I think we assume that like, oh yeah, if I played like, I don't know, Mafia or something, I would play with somebody that I don't like just to get further in the game. Or even Traders. Like Traders isn't that long, like you don't spend that much time with everybody. So yeah, I'd obviously work with this person even though I don't love them just because I think it's best for the game. This, you're living with them 24/7. And that's the hard part is we don't see all of the, and not saying that these are all there, but all of the small little digs or things that were said that may be misinterpreted that might have come from Savannah to Sage specifically. We'll use that one as like the main example. That absolutely could be out there. And I hate to go to this as like an excuse, but Savannah's also coming back. And so they could be hiding some of those things or not including those because we want this person to be popular because she's the one that we decided would be best to come back. And I'm fine with that. Like that is what it is. That's something you have to deal with this show. But yeah, up to this point, like we just haven't seen what they're talking about. And that's frustrating when it feels like that. But sometimes it's not one big thing. It's a million little things that just irk you. I have people like that in my life where it's like, oh, I can't explain. I have people like that I've never met. We've had conversations about it. James Cameron, the director, I don't like him. People don't understand why I don't like him. I don't have a good reason for why. No, I do.
I do understand. It's because he's cocky. It's always it always comes back to that.
To them being cocky. It always leads back.
He
to
has
them being cocky.
Zero humility with his work, and you want him to be humble.
It's the right kind of cocky. The right kind of cocky. I'm all in on.
It's like I don't care if you have the highest grossing movie of all time. Don't say that. Be humble.
Tyson Apostle, cockiest man in the world. Love him to death.
Oh, that's fair. Fair. You are a hypocrite. You're right.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're all hypocrites. Who are you kidding?
Yeah. I mean, last thing on this because I don't care that much about Savannah's mean girlness.
Fair.
I think like Christina's comment is like the most interesting thing, and I think that points to something of like. There is nothing there that we see, like this is only the second time you've been to tribal council with her and the first time you blindsided her, right? Because like last week, Christina wasn't at that tribal. The one tribal council that you and Savannah were on, you blindsided her. So you pulling out that like, oh, she comes across as a mean girl. It's like either there's something else going on that we don't see, or Savannah just has that quality, which is very unfortunate for her. But
Super good chance she's getting her info from Sage. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's very much on the table too. Like it depends who's talking to you, and if it's somebody who Sage seems to have a lot of enemies and not like a lot of people, and so if that's the case, that's what you're gonna hear.
yeah, yeah. All that said, I don't know. I am rooting for Savannah. I will say it. Think she's good TV, and
Certainly good TV.
I think Rizzo's pretty good too. Hate to say it. Some might
I'm really
say
excited
he
for the
is
end of the
cinema.
season to review this cast and like ask the question: did they pick the right two? Right now, it feels like it. It really does. But there's also a couple others where it's like, ooh, I could see this person being fun though, and that's so dependent on how the season finishes out. But I'm looking forward to that conversation for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like right now, the only other person that I think could get there would be Blue Sophie, Soph. Like
So
I still,
I'm a big fan of Soph.
yeah, I like her a lot. I don't think she has been in the spotlight as much as the two of them, but like if she makes it pretty fun, like she's got good reads, like she's
Oh
a
yeah.
good player, she's entertaining. So I think like that's the one person where we could get to the end of the season, and I might be a little sad that it's not her.
She's like the perfect type of player where I feel like she is just underestimated, and that allows her to do so much behind the scenes and have so many conversations and make so many like she's so much a part of like everybody's like, oh hey, we're thinking about splitting the vote between these two, and she's like, oh okay, yeah, totally, let's like they're just pulling her into that, not realizing how close she is to them and also how much of a threat she is herself, and that you probably shouldn't offer up that much information to somebody who's like really, I don't know. Maybe I just view her more highly than I should, but I very, very highly regard her, I think, at this point.
Well, so does Savannah, because Savannah broke the news that she was a reporter.
True. That changes everything.
It does.
She can talk in front of cameras. She must be insane.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know Steven likes space?
Yeah, so much that Jeff had to cut him off.
That's crazy. Getting cut off by Jeff being like, hey, no more space facts. Like, I'm going to go now.
I got to keep narrating this, please.
Yeah, I actually got to do my job. Could you stop, please? It's wild.
Christian can talk for 3 hours about who knows what, but like the second Steven starts talking, like Jeff's like, I'm bored.
Yeah. Yeah. That one was also a 5-hour challenge. So, like, you got to fill the dead air at some point.
Yeah, the new era, I mean, we've talked about this. They intentionally make the challenges to not go that long.
They accelerate those endurance challenges for sure.
I mean, you only got 26 days. You can't spend a whole day on one challenge like you used to.
What? God forbid.
Where else do we want to go to?
Did you hear that Yellow Sophie? She was a part of the pregame cheating that got 2 people kicked off the season, and that's why she's getting purpled. That's what Reddit told me.
I heard the rumor, but then MC tweeted that was incorrect.
Yeah, that's bogus.
Okay.
I can't imagine that being true.
I didn't want to
think
crush your
go
dreams.
I think they'd rather go into a season down one person than allow somebody to play who is a part of like breaking those early season rules.
Mhm.
Honestly, that's what I think. Because they
That
only have one
being-
alternate from each gender, right?
I believe
Or maybe not even. Maybe
so.
just 2 alternates. I don't know if they gender their alternates like that.
I think they would have to.
I feel like
Right?
they've had seasons where have they had seasons where it's been off? Or maybe it's just this last Big Brother where it was more girls than guys that makes me think that that's an option.
Yeah, that's only because of Rachel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, like because it was Jason and then MC, right? It was like the female alternate.
Yeah. Yep.
That being said, I could see Sophie doing that. Like she seems like someone that would. There's something
Whatever,
about
Reddit.
her where
Yeah.
she seems like she tries so hard, and she would
Yeah.
bend a few rules for the sake of like trying to further her position. And I
Mhm.
still cannot get a read on her position, what other people think of her. It feels like she's constantly on an island where she doesn't have any
Well, that's the game.
allies.
That's the game, Nathan.
That's true. She's playing it the best, I
Sorry.
guess.
I couldn't resist. But yeah, it does feel like that.
Yeah, like why isn't like what is it about her that like her, Steven, and Christina are not linking up? Like that feels like that should be happening. But they just like, nah, she's good. She's good over there. We'll let her play with those people.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that they knew before this vote because coming back and everybody being just so sad. Like, I think that's worth discussing in itself. That when they came back and everybody's just floored that MC's gone, which immediately tells Sophie, oh, so you would have been fine if I was gone. Like, that was, I feel like, a fair read of like, oh, well, then frick you guys. I'm going to go to the people who, like, yeah, just voted her out. But I'd rather play with them who might, like, work with me than you who are like, oh, it should have been you, Sophie. We wanted to MC here. Like you gotta reel in those thoughts and those feelings. You just do.
Yeah, it almost goes back to Christina just having bad reads because like the fact that she couldn't contain herself and the fact that she didn't pick up on the fact like, oh, Sophie probably knows that we're happy or we're sad that she's still here. Maybe we should be careful working with, like the fact that she just assumed like, oh, well, Sophie's still with us. Yeah, she might have picked up that like we were hoping she'd be gone, but like she's still with us. Like that's, you gotta do better there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
I was watching that. I was like, what the frick what do you do? They said, I can't even remember. They said some wild things just directly in front of her where it's like, why would you ever say that in front of somebody you're hoping to work with? That doesn't make sense.
It was very much the like, wait, MC? But why? Why MC? What? MC's gone? And they're all like, yeah, we're still here. What did you like? Clear and yeah, it's just it's sloppy.
And if Rizzo and Savannah hear that, that's the most ammo in the world to go to Sophie and be like, they really want it. Like they would have 1,000,000% preferred that you go and MC stay. Like they don't want to work with you. Like you're giving ammo at the very least to the people that you're playing against.
Yeah, I think like the issue too is like there was no follow up. Like, okay, so that vote's happened. You're not a part of it. Let's say you are Christina, Steven, and Alex, right? Were those the only three people that weren't? Who else wasn't on? Oh, Soph. Soph was the other one that wasn't at that tribal. But like, let's say you're those people not that tribal. When you see that there's a major blindside and you see it's someone that you were working with, you're disappointed they're gone, you got to follow up somehow. You got to dig in. You got to say, hey, how did this happen? Who was the one that suggested it? Like, where are the cracks? Where's the divide? And the fact that it didn't seem like they did that at all, because like if that were to be the case, then I would have at least tried to wedge myself in and not just assume the people that blindsided MC won't do the same to me. And
yeah.
I don't know. I'm very confused about Steven right now because he's someone that like I was really hopeful for, especially like a couple episodes ago. And I don't know if it's just out of his control. Like part of me wonders like, is he just getting blindsided and there's nothing he can do? Like, is he just working from behind now? But I can't help but wonder if there's more he could be doing by securing his position because at this point it just feels like week after week he has practically like no control of where people are going.
What do you mean? Like he has no like sway? Is that kind of what you're saying?
No sway. Yeah, like the people he's working with aren't really working with him, and it feels like he just like really tried to cash in on Jawan and Sage, and that is just turning out like not working for him. And so it's like next week, like, are they going to come back to him and be like, oh, just kidding, we actually want to vote with you now? And I don't know. Like, I'm just kind of like, oh, this is someone who I thought would have more agency with his own game.
It's so tough because they just haven't showed much of like the conversation, like of like what's going on and where he's at, which makes me assume that I don't know, he was planning to go with those two and maybe went with the back to Hina and was like, oh, I'm just going to ride with these people again and separate himself a little bit. Or maybe he's just not maybe he is doing the things that we thought he would do, but he's just not. Like, the narrative doesn't matter. That's the hard part about this show, is like he could be doing what we expected and be playing well, but it just doesn't matter because long term he's not going to be here. So it's so hard to really gauge, but I agree. It feels like a disappointment from where we were kind of at with him, I think.
Yeah, and I really hope there is something more next week with some kind of repercussion for specifically like Jawan and Sage. You know, the fact that like they have blindsided him for a second time. Like, I know he wasn't at the last week's tribal, but like getting MC out and now getting out another ally, that was like in my mind, his game has been hurt the most by these past 2 weeks, because Alex was another person that he seemed to be like really tight with and building a good rapport with. And so I'm like, if you are Christina and Steven, you had better be on them next week and press them. Like, what happened? Why did you do this? You messed up our game, and we might have to flip. Especially, we didn't really talk about this, but like, Christina gave up her reward for Jawan only for him to just blindside her. Like, that's pretty crazy. Like, that is something that can last an entire season of revenge and bitterness for some people. I have a feeling she's not even going to realize that happened.
Yeah, that's fair. Or it's going to be a massive storyline going into this next episode.
One or the other.
That's such an interesting. Would you ever give up a reward after watching all these seasons and seeing like game wise how it really doesn't matter, or makes it worse because you're a bigger threat because you're nice? Like, I think there's the human part of me that would at some point potentially be like, oh, they like, I want to give it to them. They kind of deserve it. But game wise, I just don't know that there's any benefit to it.
You have to be in a very specific position, because you're right. It has turned around where it's like giving up your reward is almost like a bad game move, because it puts a bigger target on you of like, oh, look what they're doing. So I don't know. Like, I almost feel like winning a reward, maybe not winning, but like, okay, like if you're the one, like let's say in more specifically the position of like, you won this reward, now pick 2 or 3 people to come with you. To me, that is like the worst case scenario. Like, you do not want to be in that position. I think if you get chosen to be on a reward, that's probably the best. Now in this situation, it's a little tricky, because now the option is like, you won it fair and square, but everyone always has the options to swap with someone. I think that is tough. But no, I wouldn't have done it here, and it clearly didn't help her game.
No, I I saw a clip of Liz yelling at Q and yelling, "I'm pissed," because she missed the Applebee's reward. And I don't have anything to add to that, just to say that clip is all time and hilarious, and I'm a big fan of that moment.
Yeah. I also saw, for this challenge specifically, there was a schoolyard pick that we did not see, but there was an unaired clip that showed it all.
Oh, was it?
And I apologize, because I saw this like 2 days ago and I didn't watch it, and now I'm realizing I didn't watch it, and that would have been helpful. So I'm trying to read right now. But the thing I do know is that Rizo did pick Jawan first overall. So I do wonder if that had anything to do with Jawan feeling like he could still trust Rizo. I don't know. Either way, it feels like he had to pick between the guy who chose him to go on the reward, or the guy who picked him to be on the team, or the person who gave up her. Because like the funny thing is like they lost, so like Rizo picking him was kind of a bad move. But I think like the sentiment of like, hey, I want you on my team. I don't know. Like, I wonder if there's something there that makes Jawan feel a little more loyalty towards him.
I'm not Jawan in that situation. I don't think that would affect. I'm not Jawan. I know, crazy. I don't think that would affect my perception of like, oh, I want to play with you. It's like, oh, you think that I'm decent in challenges? Cool. That actually might be something where it's like, ooh, I'm a little worried about you. If you think that I'm like that valuable to have in a challenge, are you worried about me being a challenge threat in any capacity? I think that would be a question that might I don't know that that would lead me anywhere. I don't know that that would affect anything, but that would be a question that I would ask more so than, oh, Rizzo must trust me because he's adding me to his team for this reward challenge.
Here is the quote, and again, I did not watch the clip, but this is a quote from the clip. Rizzo said, "I'm going to pick Jawan, and here's why I'm going to pick Jawan. I'm hoping that we're going to break the reward curse. I see something that's throwing. What does that mean? And the little Rizzo in me, I don't like that, thinks that I can hopefully pull it out. So me picking Jawan is me hopefully thinking I can pull it out and bring that man some food." So like the notion that Jawan was the only one without a reward up until this point was like a very talked about thing with them. So it seems like Rizzo picking him was like, I'm picking him first because I think we can get him some food.
Yeah, so going for the value of winning him the food, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
Not winning him the food, then it's like, okay, that didn't do anything for me. So yeah, I guess I see what you're saying. If they had won, and then you go on the reward with them, and like get to enjoy that time, like that's valuable. Reward time with people. I feel like most often if we see somebody flip, it's because they got wine and dined at a reward challenge, and so going for that, I can see.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you said the first time, and my bad if I missed that.
No.
That'd be funny.
It isn't because I didn't.
Just
I didn't
recycling
read
the
that
exact
quote
thing
yet.
that you said earlier, like, oh yeah, and probably this. That makes sense.
Yeah, I almost feel like this speaks more to Rizzo's reads on the game, where like this clearly was an intentional play, and I do think Jawan is probably the best person from the quote unquote other side that doesn't really exist because they're voting with them, but the other side that you want to pull over because like Sage is not going to be that person, right?
Yep.
Christina wasn't an option. I don't think Steven or Alex would have been that because Alex is already the middle, so I think Jawan was like the perfect person where if you're planning on winning him a reward, if you're planning on getting that time with him, he's the one you want. So like I can't help but like feel that, I don't know, like Rizzo
sure.
knows where people are at.
Rizzo knows where people are at. Yeah, there is a part of them. Well, I feel like they're the focus, but I think they're the focus of the season in a lot of ways. Rizzo has a lot of confidence, especially in his confessionals. It feels like there's a lot of confidence in what he's doing. And I think before this episode, and even before this conversation, and this isn't like, he sucks because he's being cocky. I feel like we hadn't seen the like, oh, he really does have those good reads. He really is making moves. And I think we're starting to see that, like you said, with the last two votes, like they're the ones that are convincing people to go the direction that they want to go. I think that he just has so much confidence that I wonder if it's like, he has this overconfidence and that's going to be the thing that bites him in the butt. Like that's kind of where what I see potentially for him. But who knows? He might just cook all the way to the end. But I see that a little bit where it's like, ooh, are you as good as you talk like you are? And does how you talk how you are match up with how you see yourself? Like, is he talking up his game because it's TV and he like questions it a little bit more in his head? Or is he that confident that he's that much better or doing that well?
Yeah, I think simply based on what we've seen, I think he's as good as he's saying.
He might be.
Because like everything he has said so far has one been correct, and he has also implemented. And I do wonder like what it like if you don't think he's there yet, not just you, but like anyone, like if you don't see if he's not hasn't arrived at that point yet. Like him getting blindsided next week, do you think that would mean like, oh, he was a fail? He's not as good as he thinks he is? Because I would still say like, oh, he did pretty good, like all things considered. Like does he need to win the game in order to prove himself to match his perception of himself?
I don't think so, because I think there's an extent to the game where you're like betting. You know that there's a chance that they're going for you, and you're willing to take that gamble. And I think having the idol is doing that. And so you can have like this confidence, like I think that they're gonna go, and maybe they're shooting for Steven next week, and he's like, oh, I think that they're gonna vote for Steven. there's a chance it's me. I'm willing to roll those dice. I don't think that makes him a worse player because I think part of this game is taking risks and hoping that, like, holding on to your idol, thinking like, I think that I have him. I think I have him on my side. And I think being wrong doesn't make you bad. Like feeling like you gave a great pitch and that they should be sold on it isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. So I think that he could go out next week by a big blindside, and I could still be like, this week itself, like I said, just talking to you, especially at the beginning of this conversation, like they're playing very well and they're turning things in their favor when they probably shouldn't be turned in their favor, and him and Savannah. And so that there definitely is some very strong gameplay there, which is why there's a part of me that's excited that he's coming back, because I like seeing good players play Survivor.
Who are you most excited to see him play with in Survivor 50?
Oh, we got to look up that.
Yeah,
cast.
I was like, I'm pulling up another list again. Because I always
Colby?
Rizo and Colby. Oh
Do they
man.
have the cast listed on Survivor Wiki? Okay, they do.
Yeah, I mean, I think Christian would be very fun
Him
with
and
Rizzo.
Coach. Christian, yeah.
Him and Jenna Lewis. That's a good dynamic.
Jenna Lewis. I'm honestly, if there's anybody I'm excited about, it's Jenna Lewis.
I my favorite thing is just throwing her name out there for the answer to all these questions. Like it's like, oh, but Jenna, the dynamic of Jenna Lewis and fill in the blank. That's gonna be
Him and Mike White. That would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, like really anyone. I mean, I forget Aubrey's coming
I'm a
back.
little
That's
nervous
always
that people
fun.
aren't gonna be put up with him, like on this cast.
Do we know? Well, no, we do, because like this is the classic scenario where they haven't seen Savannah and Rizzo
They haven't
play.
seen Savannah or Rizzo, so they gotta.
Mhm.
So immediately right there, unfair advantage. So even if they win, I'm not gonna count it. That's how I do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with Russell. Same with Malcolm. Doesn't count. Sorry.
Yeah, man, this is. I am excited for them to be on the season. Like I was worried, it's always like risky being like, oh, two people cast that like I have never seen before, but I do think they're going to be good fits, and in fact, there are plenty of people I would remove on this list before them. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think they're the most interesting options. Are they? It remains to be seen. Are they the best players in the game this season? I think there's a good chance, but we don't know for sure. Because it has to be the person that wins. They're always the best player, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Well, maybe not the best player. They had the best game. How about that?
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I was just giving you crap. But yeah, I think there's definitely people on this list, Jenna Lewis, that I would rather take off than them.
Yeah.
I don't love there just being like a solid duo. And so even Kyle and Camilla, I don't love that.
Sure.
But it is what it is. What are you going to do?
My
Like,
assumption
they're fun players.
is
And they're
they
going to
will
be together right off the bat, yeah.
Well, that's my assumption. They will not start off together. Although, like, Winners
It's going
at
to hurt
War,
them more than it's going to help them.
we did see like some duos somewhat together. So, I don't know.
Winners at War, the first person out was because they were in a duo.
Yeah. So
They got third place. Second place. Second place.
Oh man,
Completely
that is
fairly.
true. That is true. Some people think she should have won. Some people are still out
She should
there.
have. She should have.
Do you actually think that?
No.
Okay. Good. Now Michelle should have won.
I think if Tony's not in that final three, no, but it would still be Sarah, I think, comfortably.
I'm assuming you are not watching the current season of the challenge, correct?
No.
Do you know who's on it? Season 41, specifically from Survivor?
I know, like, D is on it, and a few others. I know who's on it. I can't.
There's
name them right now,
Michaela and then Sydney from season 41.
Yeah.
Would you believe me that Sydney is like the standout in a way? Like season
Really?
41, who went home at the Mergatory, right? Like I don't know. I don't think about her often.
Yeah.
And when the season of the challenge started, I was kind of like, this is so weird. Like, yeah, D1 Survivor, that makes sense. Get her on the challenge. Like Sydney from season 41, like the first season of the new era that like, but I'm not going to spoil it at all, but like she, in my opinion, as far as like the rookies of the season go, I would love to see her become a staple of the challenge.
Ooh, all right.
It's a
What
little
do we
weird.
think of like a Cedric from Big Brother? Do we like Cedric on the challenge? I liked him on Big Brother, so I
Uh,
need to know where you're at with him on the challenge.
I mean, I
Sorry,
I
everybody.
never
Survivor talk is
really.
being tabled for now.
I think we're done with this episode. I will say I never really got there with you on on Cedric. It's almost like a Nate situation. I feel like I never saw the appeal. So I think that carries over. Like he's fine. He doesn't really contribute much, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like he's good at the challenges, but like Sydney, it's the personality. Like that's
Okay.
like the
Yeah.
confessionals and the drama, but like the good drama. Like
Hmm.
almost like she comes across as like a bananas-esque in a way where it's like, oh, like
Yeah.
you know what this show is supposed to be. Where Cedric,
Hmm.
I think, is like trying to win some challenges. Saying like
I
America's on the season, like I don't really know why she was on it because she's not really great at challenges and doesn't have the same appeal as like challenge drama.
no. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. The challenges is such an interesting one because I feel like in Survivor you can bring somebody on who's not like the most entertaining but is good at challenges and people will love them. And the challenge feels different where like you can be dominant at the challenges, but if you're not entertaining in some capacity, it's like why are you here? And I think we've seen a few people who have like won challenges who just aren't entertaining. And so it's like they don't come back for a while and it's like, "Oh, why don't we bring them back?" It's like cuz they're boring and that's not what we're trying to do here.
Well, it's like because like the essence of it was a spin-off from like the real world and
Yeah.
Road Rules, right? So like it
Mhm.
wasn't in nature a competition.
No.
So I think that's what it's missing, where the staples of the franchise, like the people, are the like they come from that reality drama side, and then it's fun
Mhm.
watching them compete against each other. And I
Mhm.
think the past like 10 seasons or so, they are trying to go for like when they get the American Ninja Warriors and people like that,
Yeah.
where it's like we're not here to watch like the Olympics. We're
Mhm.
we want to watch like these polarizing personalities go head to head.
Yeah. I think guys like CT and our listeners probably don't care. Guys like CT and like these just monster human beings really pushed it that way though, because he would just suddenly was like, and not just him, but he's like the biggest example I think from that era where it's like, oh, this isn't just for entertainment. He's an animal, and you just can't beat him in anything, and so you got to deal with it.
Yeah. It's also interesting because I feel like the people that are the most obvious to cast on the show, like they don't go with. Because you're talking like Cedric's season of Big Brother. It's like Tucker's right there. Like, I don't know if he
Yeah.
like turned it down. I don't know. Like, but
No, he said in the Big Brother house, I just want to do stuff like the challenge. He's
I
like,
don't know
I'm
what we're
doing
doing
this.
then. Yeah.
I'm doing this so that I can do the challenge. That's a thing that he
Hmm.
said. And maybe something came up and so he couldn't, but like that seems like such a slam dunk. Unless CBS is like, this guy rules, we want to like keep him in our space, so we're not gonna like let him go to other
Well,
shows or
I
have him
will
sign
say
something.
he is currently on the Amazing Race, right?
Oh yeah, true. He's with his
Actually, I don't
brother, I
know.
think.
I don't
Which
know. No, he's with
no, not brother.
Rabina.
No,
And
Rubina has her. They started out with family for sure.
are you sure? I thought they were on it together.
I'm a
Let
hundred
me.
percent sure. Like Rubina's sister's on it.
Okay, I mean, you might be right. I haven't watched this season at all. I
What
just
season is
know
it?
what. Why would you ask me that? What season is the current Amazing Race season on, Tony?
Is it 38, 37? It's something like that. Those are the options I get when I type in the Amazing
38.
Race season. 38.
All right. Well, I'm looking at major spoilers now, so thanks a lot.
I hope you were worried about. Yeah, I
Enzo
can.
was
There's a picture
eliminated
of him and his
first.
brother.
All right. Never mind. I thought they were partners. I just know that this season filmed before.
Ravina's also on it though.
They were dating when the season was filmed, and then they broke up postseason. So like, I just know it's a little funny. It's like
Gotcha.
There's a couple like edits that are like we're dating and blah blah blah, and it's like awkward. So I just assumed they were partners. I haven't watched The Amazing Race in like 10 years. What do you want me to do? You want me to start The Amazing Race? I'm not going to do it.
No, I'm not going to do it either.
Great.
For some reason, it just does not interest me.
It used to, like, but I was like 10.
But like the same strategic like gameplay that I hope to see from Big Brother Survivor in the challenge, it just doesn't seem to exist.
No,
it doesn't seem the same in The Amazing Race. It's just a race. And
no,
that's cool.
There's no alliances.
But that's just not for me.
It is simply watching people. Like, if you like watching like travel videos, it like I did enjoy it for that aspect of like just seeing them travel the world and like, it's fun. But like the challenge, it's just like doing challenges and trying to like find a taxi. Like that's kind of all it is.
Yeah.
There's not strategy in the sake of like alliances, which is fine. Doesn't have to be, but I don't know. There's a reason that people from The Amazing Race don't really do well on Big Brother or the challenge.
They've only done Big Brother once, right? It was 17.
Yes. And then the challenge.
There's very little crossover that way, and then they have an entire Big Brother season of The Amazing Race.
Well, even before this one, I mean, that was like the thing for years. Like you would always like do good on Survivor or Big Brother and then go do The Amazing Race. Like The Amazing Race was like the afterthought. But it's because The Amazing Race isn't like it's almost impossible to become a star off of The Amazing Race because it doesn't showcase your personality. So it's much better to get a well-known personality on The Amazing Race, and that is far more successful. So it's like, oh, you liked who won a couple years ago? Claire and Derek X, like they won The Amazing Race.
They won.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Shout out to them.
Well, that's the other thing. The people that are alumni of other shows are so good at The Amazing Race. Cody and Jessica won.
Oh, really?
I think Natalie might be the best example. Her and her sister were on The Amazing Race first and then did Survivor.
Oh, really?
So that might be the only successful case of like crossover coming
My
from
mind
The
went
Amazing
to the
Race.
wrong Natalie there, for sure.
I'm pretty sure. Let me double check.
No, I believe you, but you said Natalie, and I didn't go Natalie Anderson. That's not where my mind went. I went to Big Brother 18 Natalie.
End this episode.
We should. Hey, if you're still here, folks, we also won't be recording next week, so just keep that in mind. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, her and her sister were on The Amazing Race 21, Amazing Race All-Stars, and then went on Survivor Blood vs. Water.
Got it.
So there you go.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, it makes more sense why she did so well, too.
Dude, she might have one of the best resumes of reality. Or as far like Amazing Race, Survivor, both of those twice. She did the challenge. She did The Price is Right, and then she's going to be on Traders. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Traders is such a crapshoot that you never really know.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that's that game. Like, there's no, like, you just win if you do this. Like,
see, but that's why I love it, because I think we're in the early stages of people starting to figure it out.
Sure. I think that's for sure true. You have to try to figure out who the traders are and buddy up to them ASAP. That's the strat. But anyways, we should go. I gotta go soon.
All right.
This was really fun talking to you.
All right, for more episodes, you know where to find us. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, at NGAPpod. That's at NGAPpod. I'm Nathan. This is Tony, and that was the challenge talk. We'll see you next week. No, in 2 weeks.
Yep. 17 seasons, 2 pals, 1 podcast.